Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very special edition of The Moon is Inhabited with Bruce Sees All. You can find his work, of course, on YouTube here at Bruce Sees All, and also you can support him at patreon.com/Bruce Sees All. Bruce, welcome back to the show. How are you, man?
How's it going, man? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Has it been that long?
I don't know anymore. I mean, I remember the pandemic, and then I lost everything after that. It just we're stuck. The same news, the same lingering bad news is. But you know, good's putting up a fight with evil. We can see it. You send a news. Wow, all these good things happened, but oof, all those bad things happened. And now
somebody posted how do you call those things that tick like that when you play piano? Metrodome? How do you call it?
Metronomes, yeah.
Oh,
metronome.
And so they made a meme out of that. Oh shit, we're gonna die too. Everything's gonna be okay. It's just like this is how I feel from day to day. I'm like, yeah,
exactly. Like that death clock that they talk about. You must or the nuclear clock. The death clock is always, you know. The first time I had heard about the death clock was a year ago, or something like that, and it's like, oh wow, it's like 1 minute to death time. It's like, you know, okay, well.
Oh my God, we're all gonna die. On that note, folks, thank you so much for joining us here today on this live interactive show. We have quite a bit of footage to go through. Bruce has been very busy capturing amazing footage of the moon and other stuff too, but today we'll concentrate mostly on the moon and some of the weird objects he's filming above his own town in his house. So that'll be really cool as well. Bruce, before we get into that, I wanted to talk to you about some of these news items just here in months of September. You and I haven't spoken here for a couple of months, but you remember at the beginning of the year, we were excited about this Pentagon releasing this study on UFOs, and it came out to be like blah, blah, blah. There wasn't really anything there as you and I had suspected.
It was exciting. It was really exciting. It was like an offer, like a dream house that you didn't see yet, but you say we just have to go visit it.
Right.
There's no windows,
you know. There's that too. Yes. And here on the 1st of September, reporting on Zero Hedge, this was Congress here admitting that UFOs are not quote unquote man-made and the threats are increasingly exponential. So what was your reaction to this one here before we get into the footage? Because I want to tie this into some of the moon landings from the mid-century, perhaps construction there, and what China's doing there now. We have quite a bit of a road.
Some new information that's coming up, a lot of information coming out from them.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what did you make of this Congress thing here? Are they hyping industry? Is this code word for the industry to start putting money into defense, or are they really trying to put cover for all of this money for activities that is already occurring on the moon, including the mining of special minerals and perhaps incarceration camps and all that stuff too? What did you make of this particular announcement here in September?
You almost just answered my question. You almost pretty much. I mean, it's getting pretty obvious, you know. We all know that the Pentagon, I mean, this, you don't have to be a genius to know this. The Pentagon's always trying to raise money, get funds from the government to do space research and to do defense programs. To you know, there's always a danger. And now when I heard the Pentagon say, "Oh, well, we really have to ramp up the funding now if we want to be able to defend like against an adversarial attack or a foreign country attack," they're still not saying whether the UFOs are extraterrestrial outside of Earth or if it's on Earth. I can't help but wonder, because they got caught recently, declassified footage documents 2007 to 2012 about they would have been doing time travel experimentation, and it's like really out of this world sci-fi experimentation that they were doing on the moon. But what the goal of the Pentagon is it's like they're always sneaky, the governments, eh? They don't share information with us because they want people to like them and say, oh, well, we may as well tell them. It's they get caught, it gets leaked out by the inside. And I have a hard time sizing them up. I have a hard time sizing up their intentions, but they want to go to.
Uh-oh. I think I just lost Bruce. Bruce, come back to the show, man. He was having a weird connection problem just before we went live. Guys, give me a 5x5. Am I still live? Is it me who lost connection? Hold on. What's going on? We have a storm here too, and my connection is kind of weird today. 5x5, anybody? I'm waiting for the chat here. Francis says, yeah, Pentagon cannot be trusted. Okay, 5x5. Okay, I'm still here. We're missing Bruce. Okay. Let me email him back to see here with the link. Hopefully he can get connection back. So let's see here. Bruce, link. There you go. Send. Oh, my dog's all making noise. Okay. Okay, Jordan, I hear you fine, JC. Okay, Bruce is gone. JC is present. Okay, the crazy toaster. Yeah. Let's wait to see if we can get Bruce back on the line. I just sent him an email with the link. Hopefully he gets his connection back. Oh, wait, I think I see him in the green room. Bruce, welcome back.
What? I don't know what happened.
I don't know.
Oops.
You just like, poof.
Sorry, I have a phone now. Give me 1 second.
Okay, sounds good. All right, guys. Oops. All right, guys. We're back into the saddle here. Give us a moment. We'll recalibrate and get the show back on the road. Allison Wagner. Yes, NASA. Never a straight answer. You remember when they had that explosion too? Everybody called NASA need another 7 astronauts. So there's that one. And
I say now it's not a serious association or not a secret anymore.
Right.
Right. Sorry, man. The connection went down.
Yeah, not sure what happened. So you were saying, yes, they're always creating all of this subterfuge to get more money and to do their things. And a lot of people are saying, hey, yeah, so much manipulation. You can't trust those guys. They're full of lies. But somebody brought up a comment here. Hopefully I can get back to it here. It had to do with Blue Beam. Do you think when they're talking about this threat being exponential, that they're setting us up in this kind of weird narrative that we might have an alien invasion? I don't know if you follow Cliff High here, but in the last couple of months, he was saying that in this big ugly, the big unveiling that we're in now, it's possible that they would try to throw an alien invasion type of scenario here to kind of switch the tables on the narrative.
And that is scaring me. That is scaring me a lot. It's a great question, by the way, by the community. The thing is that they're bringing all this up for people to maybe expect an alien invasion, and now I'm actually worried about that there is going to be an alien invasion, but maybe a real one. Maybe there's already, and when I say alien invasion, I'm not talking about like in the movies when they land like Donkey Kong, like not Donkey Kong, but the big gorilla. Well, what's the name? The big monster, the gorilla that attacks the cities.
King Kong.
God, King Kong. Oh my God. I talk too much about the moon now, man. I don't even know what's going on in the world around me except for that. But yeah,
I was like, what the hell does Donkey Kong have to do with aliens? I was struggling there, Bruce, to follow you. Keep going.
Well, what they're trying is, and it was a worst time to fail there with the Donkey Kong, because I'm thinking freaking Donkey Kong. They talk about an alien invasion. I don't think it's going to be like green men from Mars or King Kong is what I wanted to say. Not like a fake alien invasion. I don't believe that they're going to try to do that. I think that there's actually a real invasion where lights are coming to Earth, and that they're trying to really find out if it's not China and Russia. If we see Russia's on the side, on the verge right now, we heard about, I'm going to be careful here on your channel, but they're talking about the nukes and everything very recently, just 2 days ago, saying I'm not bluffing. So that's another thing that's scaring me a lot. And I tend to think that everything that's going on right now is wrapped around what's on the moon. I'm not just trying to say that so that people will be interested in my research, but I think what's going on the moon is a big secret. And if there's a war here on Earth, we could possibly see some type of fighting, or maybe on the moon about it. And those projects, Project Blue Beam, and they're investing a lot of money, and it's all going into those projects. I still believe that they're still going, like MK Ultra, that they say that they're done the projects. Hey, bullcrap. DARPA just got caught, declassified on the blackvault.com. You see, in the States, they have the Freedom of Information Act, right? So they're able to declassify some information a lot, but it takes years. And they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And this was in 2006, 2007. So I could only imagine what they're doing with the projects. I really do believe that there could be a false alien invasion, a false flag. But what if they say it's a false flag and it's not, and it's a real invasion? It's like, I just don't want people to be stuck on the fact that, oh, they're going to pretend, they're gonna, oh, look at this, they took the power grid out. You know what I mean? Like, people will be outside seeing UFOs go by and they'll be like, yeah, right, come on. And it's
And
gonna
this
be
time
like,
it'll be real. I know that's what's so
yeah,
fucked up about this world. They keep lying to us about everything. We don't know what's what anymore. So yeah, we kind
yeah,
of have to. And I think Cliff, in one of his videos, this is a couple of months ago, he was talking about observational dilemma, where any strategist on the battlefield has to wait a moment here to really realize and to recognize what he's looking at before he can take his troops and decide which next action to take. And so he was suggesting
absolutely.
to all of us to do the same thing. When we're hit with these news items, maybe slow down, take a moment here to take it up. Don't react fast. Don't be the first one with your head out of the trenches. You're gonna get your head shot off
Exactly.
here.
And don't stick on any one conclusion. That's why I have many theories, you know. I
Exactly.
get flat earthers that come by the channel. I mean, I know what curvature is. I know it's been proven and stuff like that, but I love the fact that people are bringing up a whole bunch of theories on different ideals and stuff, and I'm not going to be the one to tell them that they're not right. I think it's interesting to have more on the table.
I'm going to bring this up while you brought it up here. This whole idea of curvature. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys prove this online. I have never done the exact measurements and calculations myself,
Yeah, same
although
here.
I've seen the time clocks work and I've seen like the shadows and all that. So I can extrapolate, but not to the mathematical degree where I could say with confidence what the
Proven.
exact curvature angle or what the size of the planet is. And my thought was, I had Jay Weidner on maybe a month or two ago, maybe a little bit longer now, and he was suggesting that it's very possible that there's a whole other continent or a series of continents on this planet that we have yet to know about, at least us, the normal people.
That's
And
very
that we,
interesting. I love that
and when he
subject.
said that, I thought, wait a second. Yes, there's that curvature, but are we on a much bigger planet where what we know to be the continents of Earth is maybe just a little patch encircled by a fence? We
Beautiful.
could be the farm, so to speak, and then
Beautiful
there's everybody
theory.
else. What are your
That's a
thoughts on
beautiful
that?
theory. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
theory. I love it. Let's take Antarctica, for example. They talk about the ice wall. We're still talking about it. And they're
Mhm.
saying, oh, over the ice wall, there's these barriers, there's other parts of the earth that we don't get to. So it comes down to the shape and size of the planet. Like you just said, if
Mhm.
Earth is like I can almost say I know Earth isn't round, but I could also say I know it's maybe not a flat cookie. It could
Mhm.
have some width. It could have some bulginess to it. And if we're living on the tiny point side, like at the end there, and we have a hard time getting around this mountainous small region, and we say, wow, we're going all over the world. Yeah, it could be that there's areas and continents around the world that we don't have access to, and that they didn't put them on the map. And we can know that that's real because there's areas that you cannot fly around to. It's only scientists and biologists that are going to these areas. It's the military that are flying
Mhm.
in a lot of these areas, and they
Mhm.
follow the same route to go there. So when you land in Antarctica to go see calving icebergs, just that in itself is incredible. The seals, the whales,
Right.
but you can't drive around in a four-wheeler or to take a 3-day hike over one way to see what's over in one area. There
Mhm.
must be some bases. And this is something, this is not myth anymore, right? They
Yeah.
actually, the government admits that there are bases there right off the bat, whether it's aliens
Oh
or
yeah,
not.
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Well, look at this map here. I don't know if you've seen this before. We did a show. I don't know if it was on Tartaria on our special pay-per-view show a month or two ago, and one of our subscribers showed us this map, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing something similar to this when I was a kid. I don't know if it was on National Geographic or one of those Discovery channels at the time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you look at this one here, we're all on top here, and then we're encircled in this what looks like to be an ice belt, but this is just a portion of the rest of the planet.
Exactly. And there's nobody here that says, oh, I was on a mission and I went all the way over. No, nobody goes.
Right?
Nobody goes, except
Exactly.
Admiral Byrd. But
Yeah.
even that was a funded, paid secret project by the United States of America to go there. That's what they did. So it's not just
Yeah.
people going there on their own. And
Yeah.
like the
And
places,
from our perspective, if we had previous civilizations who can circumnavigate the known world at the time, in their perspective, this could very much feel like a flat Earth when you consider the
yeah,
size of this particular ball here. Maybe not
yeah.
flat, but you know what I'm getting at
Yeah,
here.
we're on a game board. We're on
Yeah.
a flat game board with bumps.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
could look at it like that, a
Yeah.
lot of mountains and It's intriguing. And what about all the places around the world where people, and this is also real, they talk about all these walkers and all these Bigfoot and Sasquatch and in the woods and stuff like that. I mean, I believe that there are other animals and maybe even intelligent beings that are here on Earth coexisting with us. That's why, man, they're going to land in the south on the moon for Artemis. I was so upset. I said, damn, we're not going to see anything. And who says that they're not just landing in an area like Antarctica on the moon where the moon people won't see them? So if aliens come in and land in our barley and wheat fields, we could also go into their wheat fields, figuratively speaking, to spy on them. And I believe really strongly that right now that's where we are at, the point where people are realizing, like the kid's in his crib and he says, "Oh wow, there's a door. I'm in a room." You start developing, evolving, and seeing that there's something outside of the reality there. Everything that they're doing with us, the changing the perception, subliminal messaging, that's all real. It's all completely real. That they're subliminally changing our perception and minds. They change the minds of our kids and teens through games and everything. Somewhere along the line, it's control that they're trying to get, complete control. And Klaus Schwab said it himself, man. We must do it in little integers. Not to push them away, as he's petting his white cat with his bald head.
Right.
All he's missing is a scar, right? He's just missing
pretty much. He's got the costume in one of those pictures. Absolutely crazy.
How many people sent him a gift which is just a lens with a chain? I'm sure they all want him to wear it, but he doesn't.
Right. Take a look at this one here, Bruce. You're talking about warping our ideology. Well, going back to this idea that perhaps there's other continents on this planet and we don't know about the people who live there. These are all photographs of, for all intents and purposes, giants.
And very real. Very real. Yeah.
So where did it all go? Who are these people? Like, it's just, there's so much about this planet we don't really know. And of course, with the advent of technology, we have access to more information, but in the same token, the people who are in power have more access to censorship also.
Yeah. Listen, we're all giants, Nephilim or not. We're all giants. Here's a theory. Here's a good one. Yeah. We're all inbreeding. Okay, let's say we're doing Saxon, Coburg, Goth, or whatever. Whoever's doing the inbreeding. Okay, between races, like the royal blood lines and stuff like that. If the giants start having, it's this stupid. There, a giant race has a baby with a human. Okay, and then it makes all these different sized and height people. Right? If you look at it like you want, we could say there's 3 classifications of sizes. We have the small people, which dwarf, midget, because whether it be due to dwarfism or some people are shorter because they had spinal injuries. But you have from massive, we're talking 20 feet, and I don't want to exaggerate. It could be, I know that some of them are very tall, but 12, 13, 14 feet. These people are in height. It would be physically impossible, genetically, would it not be, for us humans to make giants like that? Like, what would have to change in the DNA for them to be able to do that? If they manipulated with the races, well, that's probably what they did. Maybe they took a big, healthy, strong race and they developed a whole bunch of other smaller races from that. And I don't know. I think we're all pretty much spliced.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's more and more of this evidence. You can follow many researchers down this rabbit hole. Bruce, let's get back to our topic at hand here. That was fabulous. And somebody was just asking me, hey, JC, what book was that from? I'm not sure exactly. Let me bring the link down for you guys here. This is the Twitter account. I think it's a Tartaria in Antiquity Twitter account. Let me bring the link down for you guys so you can go click on that and try to see if you can find the provenance of this particular map. I just thought it was very fascinating. Again, just a data point that we're looking at to try to better understand.
They get rid of those maps, eh? A lot of these old maps there. Like, I mean, we all have had grandparents, and I had some books that I got from my grandfather, maps and stories. This is not even in history. Really old books, old books, and they get rid of those books over the years. They hide the truth. Huh?
There's another channel that I like on that note. Let me see if I can share that with the audience members here, if I can find it from this. Where did you go? I'll look for it in a second here. Then I'll just cue you on the question while I look for this, so we don't make the audience wait here too much. Bruce, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about here is all these scrubbed missions here, these delayed launches. This was a couple of weeks ago, and
Good
again,
subject.
yeah, and again now. What do you make of this? Is it just atmosphere? Is it just budget, or is this because of the war and the theater? What's happening in Europe right now? We'll choose our words.
Yeah, again, you're touching on a lot of points. I have so many. I have quite a few theories.
Yeah.
Shooting one out there just to mystify everything and make things interesting. Imagine the alien race or being not wanting us to leave Earth and doing little things that happen to these launches. Look at Blue Origin, wasn't able to launch. They just had an accident. Then they're not talking about it. Congress in the United States of America is asking for transparency. They're waiting for info from them. They're not talking about it. And but exactly what was the question exactly? Want to stay on
what do you make of all these delays in the launches? Is it because,
Yeah.
well, I had two ideas. One, the theater of what's happening in Europe right now, there might be some
Right.
jockeying around for airspace. And two, we might have right now an inordinate amount of UFO traffic that's also preventing these launches.
It
What are
could be
your thoughts?
that, the sun
Yeah.
also, or exactly what you said about the UFO traffic. It could very well be a problem. Like, I'm pretty sure they sent James Webb Telescope out there on a secret project. Well, it is a secret project, but
Right.
to look at the UFOs maybe further out. Maybe they're
Right.
trying to find out how friggin' far are these lights coming from. If they're seeing them at Venus, go by Venus. Well, they're there. If they're seeing them go by Saturn and Pluto, maybe that's what they're looking for to see. Is there life everywhere? You know, it's
Yeah.
something really, really scary. They got hit. James Webb Telescope got hit by several meteoroids that even damaged their mirror. They damaged their mirrors there, and they're in an area of space that apparently doesn't have very much movement. There's not a lot of stuff in that area where they are, so that's why they brought them there. But yet they're getting hit by meteoroids. So could it be the aliens? Like, you know what I mean? Imagine an intelligent race. They're not going to kill the astronauts, but they could make us fall back to Earth often. Right? The launches, I'm doubtful about the launches. It could have to do also with the sun. I'm really not sure about that. When they do a mission, they're going to have they have to have a launch window where 30 days is going to be safe for them. If they're going to go with Artemis 1 and the 20 some days and then go around, if the sun is active or facing Earth or the moon, it can kill the astronauts. When they're outside of the ISS space station, is dangerous. It can even go through the fuselages. But it's really down to, I think probably what you said is that it's the threat of those UFO lights, which are buzzing nuclear facilities. I just hope it's not China. I hope it's not an adversarial or foreign country like Russia or China.
Well, going back to that Congress announcement at the earlier of the month, they're saying it's increasingly a threat and it's not man-made. So maybe they're hinting at that. Maybe it is China and they're just trying to garner more fear and more money for their own.
But that's where they need.
defense.
Yeah, exactly. That's where that's where they can go get funds.
Yeah.
And because of the pandemic, the military has more power. And now the medicine and pharmaceutical, big pharma is running everything, running the show, and they have all this extra funding to do everything they want. I mean, it's over.
Hey, you keep mentioning the sun here too. Guys, we'll get into some footage here in a moment. Bruce and I are just catching up and trying to tirer une ficelle, or trying to tie in all of these crazy data points here. But you talk about the sun. There's a lot of people worried about either a sun sneeze, a solar flash, something that could be related to, you and I have talked about this before. 20 years ago, Dr. Paul Laviolette came up with this theory of the galactic superwave and how that could trigger a series of, from the galactic central sun to different suns to our sun, this type of expulsion event or sneeze we've seen just in the last couple of days again here too. I don't have the exact footage here. This is from a couple of years ago, but these weird videos where the sun is actually flashing. So I don't know if that's just a camera artifact. Have you ever filmed the sun flashing yourself? What do you make of it?
That is a hell of a good question. I'll tell you what, I have seen the sun flashing, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm still not sure if it's not the camera that's reacting. Okay. I'm not going to try to hide it, but here's one thing. If the sun is dead center and it flashes, that had surprised me. But if the sun is just a little bit on the bottom, in other words, it's going to go out of your image just a little bit. Once that sun gets to the bottom, anyone that films the sun will know the camera starts going click, 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 click. It's like it's transitioning, that it's trying to pick up some of the darkness, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
I've never seen it happen on the moon, but that I can honestly say that I have seen the sun blinking, you know?
Mhm.
Do you know the sun has blinkers on the surface that are there 24/7? They're always there, and convection areas where uh, tremendous amounts of temperature change happen on the surface, and it causes one blinker to blink all the other ones. And apparently, it sort of goes like you know what I mean. You know, a
Mhm.
beehive when they all
Yeah.
react, they lift their wings and it goes
Yeah.
like a wave. It goes across it.
Yeah.
They talk about the sun doing that too. So
Hmm.
you know,
It, there's some old cave paintings of a series of events that would have occurred and were documented way back when here on the planet, where we have this scenario that plays out with the sun, where it's doing this flash thing, or it's suddenly heating up very fast, and people seek refuge inside caves. And the paintings are all very similar, where once in a while, they'll poke a branch out of the cave to see if it catches fire, and if it doesn't, okay, it's safe to go back outside. Do you think that we're close to an event now here too? Because you've captured not just stuff around the moon, but stuff flying in and around of the sun also.
in
Do you
and
think that
around.
we're getting to that particular timing now where the sun is acting up and there might be forces
Absolutely.
trying to prevent that? What do you make of it?
Absolutely. You know, the this one time event that happens every 600 or 1,000 years or 2,000 years, I think 100%. Betelgeuse 219 blew off its top, blew the
Mhm.
chromosphere. The chromosphere is, when you look at the sun, the chromosphere is where we see the sunspots. That's what
Yeah.
we would call the surface. I know a lot of people fight with me. The sun's not solid. No, but well, I do think it is possibly solid, but scientists refer to the surface as the chromosphere, and Betelgeuse blew its top off. The year before that, I was seeing Venus flashing. You wanted to talk about flashing? Venus was flashing, and I knew it wasn't the camera, because the infrared camera was making a blinding flash come off of the surface, and it literally looked like there were explosions on the surface, or the magnetism, what was going on with the sun, which they talked about just six months after. They said, well, we're going into a solar maximum. The activities
Mm.
on the sun's about every 11 years, so we don't know what's going
Right.
to happen next. It takes us a while to see what's going to happen, and scientists are still fighting on whether the sun's at its maximum or not. So I
Mhm.
think it's pretty possible it
Well,
could
on one
happen.
hand, we have the alarmists talking about global warming, and on the other hand, we have scientists since the 1950s that forecasted that we're actually going into a global cooling and that the sun is cooling down. We're getting into this grand solar minimum. That's not for here or there, because we might
Yeah,
get in trouble getting into too much of that data. But
yeah.
speaking of NASA earlier, never a straight answer. We have so much of this footage. I don't know if you saw this particular one where the guy's unscrewing he's
No.
supposedly in space here, and yeah, he drops his screw to the floor. So there's gravity there, even though they're pretending for it to not be gravity. I thought that was awesome.
Oh
There's so
my
much of this footage.
gosh.
What is your
How
highlight reel?
how embarrassing, eh? That's
Yeah.
like me. That would be like me filming outside UFOs going across the moon, but all of a sudden a big curtain falls down and the lights show that I have a fishing
You're in the
rod
studio. Yeah,
with a
with little
UFO at the
marionettes.
end. That's so embarrassing. That is so stupid. And you see them, eh? I could do it too, man. Look at me. I'm in space. How's it going, man?
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's the women, because you can clearly tell the hair has huge like spray, hairspray to hold it up. It's not even gravity. It's so
Okay, well,
fake.
I'm gonna
Come
mention
on.
something sneaky. Ever notice
Yeah.
that when you see a woman in space, okay, how come she doesn't have her hair down? Well, it's because she says it doesn't want to show everyone that it would be floating up in the air. They got that tied in a bun and spray net so that there's
Yeah.
not one hair
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
flying up. I mean, it's so stupid, you know. And
Mhm.
they sit there in front of you with their microphone, okay, and they're like just sitting here, like, and they're going like, it looks so stupid and fake. It's
Pretty
it,
much.
it would be easy to do a movie like that. Like we could do it.
Uh-huh.
That's what we should do, is do a real interview. You and I just pretending to float around in the house just to show them it's easy. Look, floating around. Yeah, exactly.
I love it. Okay, so another piece of news here that I just wanted to ping you on is, of course, global travel is an absolute havoc right now. If you're trying to fly, there's delays in baggages, delays in flights, a whole bunch of weird things happening. And on top of that, we're having some incursions on the eastern side of the world, and also here now recently over North America. These is it possible that some of this, what we would call commercial and tourist flights, are all being canceled on a specific reason, again, to avoid maybe collision with other activity that's happening in our atmosphere? Do you think that's connected?
Absolutely. The way they're rerouting the planes these years. I live near Montreal, but I don't live in a direct route where planes fly over my house. It's on the outskirts of me. But now all the changes that they're doing too, and those currents around the world are the reason why the planes apparently fly through certain areas. So what's going to happen when the currents change, but Area 51, they're like, the no-fly zones and stuff, there must be a lot of no-fly zones. Like you say, if there's a military something happening with the military, maybe over Montreal, well, then they're going to reroute flights. I believe it's done deliberately to hide it.
Well, we're hearing in Europe right now, and it's all under the cover of climate change and the energy crisis. They want to get people on lockdown again so that they don't travel. So again, is it that just a control mechanism to get them into a digital ID, blah, blah, blah? I don't know. But again, they're reducing the air traffic. So what's the real objective of reducing all of this air traffic?
Is it a danger? Or is it because there's a real danger? Or is it because they're starting to test us, to lock us down and control us? I don't know. Probably a lot of you, maybe even you yourself, bro. Every time there's a lockdown, even during the pandemic, I couldn't help but at the back of my head, without necessarily thinking it was so, that if there was a danger in the air for people to breathe, at the beginning, I thought that's why they wanted us to put on the masks and stuff. I thought maybe there was something with the sun or something. It's really confusing. It's hard to find out what's going on. Geoengineering is real. We know it's absolutely real, the geoengineering.
And no. I went on Snopes. They fact checked it, and they said that's a complete hogwash there.
Good. Okay, well, I'll write it down.
just to be clear, Bruce.
I'll call my mom later, let her know. As a matter of fact, I already knew before you told me, because they were nice enough to put on a big ass blue box under my video when I made a chemtrail video to say, "Oh no, those are contrails."
Oh yeah. Bruce, you have no idea.
It's crazy.
Okay, let's move on before we get a strike or get deleted. Now, speaking of air travel and weird airplanes, there's this video here again showing this airplane. Actually, no, that's not an airplane, and we can't talk about that. So sorry about that. We have to change on that one. Okay, Bruce. Let's bring this up here. In the news this week, 3 days ago here. Let me see if I can bring this up for the audience. Of course, I digress, guys. I'm laughing, but it's no joke. That video there, a lot of people had seen that in early 2001. And we were still looking for that footage. There's a lot of cameras there. But anyways, all of this is still coming up into the ether. But this week, what was interesting here 3 days ago, China discovers new mineral on the moon that could produce unlimited energy. So you and I have been... what's the word? Not making arguments, but making the point that perhaps all of this news is to cover activity that has been occurring for a long time. Remember in 2015 or so, I think it was, Obama had put a moratorium on lawsuits against space mining companies. And we're like, there's space mining companies?
I know.
Right, they haven't started their activity yet. Why would they have a lawsuit? So you're like, oh, wait, maybe they've been there for a long time. So this is where I want to get in one of your first videos, Bruce. What are we looking at in this particular video? Guys, you can follow along with us if you go to Bruce's channel, Real Images of Moon Bases and UFOs, the Surface of the Moon, research done by Bruce Schwartz. Go check out this video. Bruce, what are we looking at here?
There's Clavius crater on the left. This particular image, we're looking at a NASA image where you see Clavius craters on the bottom, and there's a line going to at the end of the white line on the bottom to show you how small those structures are. Dead center in the bottom there. You can see the circle on the bottom right. There's a line that goes out to show you where those structures are. They're rectangles, and they're all over the moon. I've seen them, right there. But you see how small they are? People, when they see that, they laugh. They go, big whoop. but in reality, it's a couple of miles long.
Yeah.
You know, it's a couple of miles long, and those rectangles show up. In my recent footage, Jean-Claude, this week, I showed lines at the back of Clavius crater. It would be right at the bottom that you see there on the left, but at the other end of the crater, it's got 3-4 lines going to light sources and towers. I mean, it's ridiculous there. And I found a tower actually, you want to laugh? Underneath that freaking circle there, on top, there's another tower there. I mean, it's all over. Yeah, underneath there, like if it wouldn't be hiding, because that's just the interior of the crater they're showing.
I got you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you still see two different lines that were built, two objects that are built in different ways. Yeah, one's going up and down, one's left and right. And also on the other circle too, you see on the bottom there's some left and right. What underneath those 3 lines, yeah, on the bottom there's something else crossing left and right. And you know, the telescope's not close enough to see those little details, but that could be 50 houses or something, or buildings or anything there, you know, that we're seeing a blurred smudge, you know.
As I zoom in on there, I can see some writing. It says Amazon Distribution Center Moon Headquarters.
Exactly. It's funny, eh? Amazon and the declassified DARPA mind controlling, because I mean, everyone's afraid of DARPA. They just got caught doing mind controlling programs. Amazon's involved.
Really?
Amazon is,
yes.
Wow. And they, you know, a whole bunch of lines crossed out, but it was the products that are on Amazon that they didn't want to say, selling out friggin' products. I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just me saying it. For example, Alexa.
Yeah.
All that stuff that's out there, you know, Apple Watches and stuff. So that we got, I mean, I could just see this guy, you know, they're laughing at him, that has all his, you know, look at this moron, his Apple Watch. He's telling us his heartbeat. He's got his, you know, his chip in his arm, so we know where he had a drink yesterday or whatever, you know, because that's what they want to know and everything.
Oh, that's absolutely crazy. Guys, if you want to follow up on what Bruce is talking about here, you can find it at this website here. I'll bring the link down in the live chat. There's a couple of articles on that, including the mind control. There was something about time travel as well in some of these. You're gonna have to dig a little bit further, guys, to go see that, but you have the link now in the live chat.
Yeah, there's
what was the time travel part about, Bruce? What do you want to share with the audience on that?
Okay, the Pentagon and what I found, and what I'm going to say is I confirm that it's what was leaked and what they were talking about. The Pentagon wanted from 2006 or 2007 to 2012 would have been supposedly bringing up these topics at meetings, and one of the topics was to blow up the moon, to nuke it, to make a hole through it, so that they would be able to start the time travel and Stargate and portals. You know, they want to develop a propulsion system both with electrical and anti-gravity. So when I see lights whizzing around the moon like that, it could be that the Pentagon are testing lights on the in theory on the moon without having to be there. If they're just flying around in the atmosphere, like maybe they want to do tests to see what's going on. But what they brought up was so scary. The mind control programs, you know, it's horrendous. The Stargate, where they want to do the teleportation and time traveling. This is all, this has all been done for real. Like the Philadelphia Project, which they always come to saying that it's not real. The Philadelphia Project, it's incredible, and that
I was mesmerized by that as a kid. For me, it
too. The Montauk Project,
I knew it was true. Oh yeah,
it was incredible. And here they were able to teleport for real a boat out of the area, and apparently when it came back and reappeared, they declared it unsuccessful. Because obviously everyone was sutured to the boat and everything. But there's some information coming from the blackvault.com, man, that's talking about the Montauk Project. That is, I don't know if they're laughing at us, but they're saying the people that are there now in that abandoned building, that some of the people are doing research and working in news media to talk about it. They're saying the 3 of them are apparently time travelers that came back. This is a real declassified document there. That they were part of the project, and when they went on their boat, they came back, the government obviously went to those families and areas to say, well, they knew that these people had come back on projects and they tried to hide that from them. That's pretty psychotic. That's crazy stuff for our government to be talking about. It sounds like a science fiction movie. It sounds ridiculous, you know.
This world is crazier than we know. Just one thing, though, a caveat on all of these declassified documentation. I was watching again a video from Cliff a month ago, and he was talking about the process of classifying documents on his BitChute, where the CIA and other agencies would classify something not necessarily for the that would or context of the document itself, but because a certain name would appear in it, and that name should not be made known to the public. And so what he was saying is that sometimes the classification does not make the document or the subject of the document true itself. It was just to cover somebody else. So there is also that to consider here. When
and they consider it data. Like everyone, the government, when they have information about a UFO sighting or capture, if it's one unique sighting, no matter how incredible it is, even if it's a UFO that came down and lifted up a house into space, they're not going to talk about it to the public, and it winds up as data. So they say that they have thousands of files of data, which it just remains data, and they say until it reoccurs again. That's why on the moon, the lights that I'm showing on the moon, I want to show several times of me capturing this, so that it's not just classified as one supposed capture. There's more than one light around on the moon, and it's really scary because sometimes it really looks like there could be some war there or whatever is going on. So, whoop. Volume is cut off.
Yeah, hold on. I muted myself. There was an echo. The last time you were on, you were showing us some footage that, my God, looked like explosions, looked like fireballs. There was a lot of weird activity there for sure.
Yeah, and I got some problems with that one. Actually, ever since I've been posting that, and listen, everybody always says, the government's after me. No, YouTube is definitely cutting any mention of me talking about war. And they told me that I wasn't allowed talking about war. But then I wrote back to them. I said, well, we know, but I said, that has to do with Russia and Ukraine. I'm not talking about Russia and Ukraine. No talk of the three-letter word of W, war, and not on the moon too. So it fascinates me, you know, because there are bases there. There's objects and structures there. So if it's not us that's up there, who the hell's up there? And why would the Pentagon be wanting to do some time travel but nuking the moon? Maybe they want to nuke the people that are there. It would scare me more, man, if it's humans. That means it's another world to fight of war. Another bunch of other shitheads on another planet, same goals, same needs, weekends. They're going to want money, you know.
That said, they could be us. They could be the brain drain from the 1950s and 60s. And these people thought they were going to a better life, and just to realize they were going to be slaves on a different planet. Who knows what's going on?
Maybe all those people that they made disappear from secret projects all wind up on the moon.
That in Mars too. We'll do a show on Mars next time. Bruce, what's this particular clip here we're looking at? Daytime infrared UFO sighting, tic-tac shaped UFO in the day going to the moon, observing the sky. So let me play this clip here a little bit.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You're gonna like that one. So during the day, it's always very hard to capture UFOs going by. And I was fascinated by a lot of people pretending, like, you know, when there's pollen outside, it's pretty easy to start showing a whole bunch of UFOs going by and pretend that the pollen's UFO. But pollen doesn't act like a UFO. And the UFO's on a straight trajectory, going in a fine line on a straight trajectory with no weaving, is something in the sky, whether you want to call it a satellite or UFO, but they're very hard to see. Now, you see, that is definitely something what I capture at night with the infrared cameras. And you could tell, like, you know, it's not pollen. It looks heavy enough. It's going in a straight line. The little lag that you see, it's the frame rate of the camera as it's going forward and backwards. But during the day, you'll see this one here. There's one of them there. That's a daytime with the exposure taken down, because I'm just trying to see the shape of it. And I got a tic-tac shape, man, too. You're going to see that. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, and when you see it going by, look at its bottom. It looks like it's offset from me. It doesn't look like it's going over my head. It looks like it's in space, sideways, sort of, you know, shifting or traveling. That went by like a flash. It's the only shape that I could say that was a tic-tac shape that I saw going by. It looks like It looks like there's something going by in the screen with that shape and form. It went by fast too, really fast.
This tick, is that the same size you think as what was originally reported in some of these Pentagon? I'll see if I can bring it back up for you guys here. Where did it go?
Yeah. Because to be
These
honest,
here?
to be honest with you, I would say yeah. Because looking at those objects, they don't look as big as Boeing's, eh? You'd say
No.
that it looks like a small plane without the wings, like just
Yeah.
just enough to fit a couple of people in there. So that for me is not something that's coming from another galaxy to visit Earth. I mean, like hey, that's what you brought. That
It's a
little
scout.
crab.
It's a scout ship from a mothership.
There you go. Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what I believe. I believe it's possible. And these
Wow.
objects are tic-tac formed or shaped objects. I document the objects because I've never seen that shape appear in my camera. And if ever it starts appearing all summer, I'm going to know it's no, not a bug, but it's something that the camera sensor. Then we would really be able to say, well, the camera is always picking up a same bloody shape, and I
Right.
don't. They're all different. The shapes that I'm seeing. So that's
Wow.
just quite simply a zoom up of it. And you can see it's the tic tac shape that they're talking about. And it looks
Mhm.
flat. I like that. You see how
Yeah.
it's like, it looks flat.
Okay, this
one,
is not a tic tac. This is what, a cigar? What's this one?
man, I'm happy to show you this one. This is in the middle of the day. And to give you an idea, by seeing how far away the moon is, that
Yeah.
object going by in the sky would be very close to me and has nothing to do with the moon. But
Yeah.
I'm outside with the camera set up, totally zoomed out with the P900 au plus loin at the furthest out. But watch what happens when I add an inversion as it goes down. I don't know if you can see it well here. There's actually
This is the one with the 3 fins. Is that the one?
Oh yes, did
Yeah.
you see it? I'm sorry if you already saw that. Yeah,
No,
that
I
is-
did, because I did my research before the show, but I forgot this was the one, because I have this in another clip also. Yeah, look at that, guys. Do you see
Yeah.
that? And these,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, they move. They're not always at the same spot. Is that right?
They look like they're moving, whether it be the camera that's having a hard time picking up the antennas where they are, or that those antennas are on a slide to go up or down. That's something that went by. I mean, I saw it, and I don't know what the hell it was, but it was definitely not a bird.
Because, for example, here you see part, if it's antenna or I'm not sure what it is exactly, but you see one here at the beginning, and there's none in the
And then it
middle.
goes
And
in
if
a
I go to
center,
the
and then
next
it goes-
frame,
Yep,
let's see here. There you go.
it's
Now,
in the middle.
yeah. Isn't
Yeah.
that creepy?
It is. And you know what it almost looks like? Imagine if it's a drone and there's at the end of those branches are little propellers.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm pushing it, but I mean, it's got to be something, right? Like I would never think that that's a bird at all. I mean, it has nothing to do with what birds do in the sky.
My
Birds don't
first
do that.
idea was, hey, you just filmed the rod of God.
Yeah, well,
What- you know,
that's-
what-
Yeah, a lot of commenters, that's what they were saying. What the hell's that? A rod of
Oh,
God,
yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And you can
Crazy.
see it. It's absolutely crazy. Here, you can see it very well here as it goes by real quick if you want to, with
Okay.
this filter, the conversion.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's not a bird,
No,
and it's going across the sky. It's not something falling from the sky. It's not bird poop. It could be.
no.
There's lots of stuff that people try to pass off as UFOs. I could be
Yeah,
whipping things in the sky, confetti, trying to blow confetti out, trying to pretend that there's a whole bunch of UFOs. People get
But
caught.
here too, like, we're not necessarily saying these are, well, they're UFOs in the sense that they're unidentified, right?
Exactly.
It could be
Exactly.
military projects. It could, who knows what these things
Yeah,
are?
like I see that as a device as big as 1.5 to 2 feet in the sky. Like,
no bigger than 2 feet. Oh, wow. Okay.
No, yeah, like something that was really, really small.
Okay.
But just I think it was very close to me, like it was going through houses, like over top of our houses, and not really close to the moon. Look, I mean, the moon was so small there. So
Wow, crazy.
it is.
Towering object near. Oh yes, I love this one. Okay, so let me set this up for the audience here. Let me play from here. I think we're close to what you're looking at. Go ahead, Bruce.
Yep. Let me see.
I'm not sure I queued that right. I'm looking for this towering object here.
Okay, the one near Clavius crater. Okay, be a bit further, probably, brother, in the video. Yeah.
This here you're looking for?
No, not quite there.
Further in the video?
Yep. Keep going like that, like you're doing, and I'll see it. Keep going. You're close. It's an Aristarchus, right?
Yeah.
Yep, keep going. So there they are. Yeah, you can back up just a little bit. So yeah. All right. So as we're going there, okay, we're seeing a black line there. That's the area I want us to focus on. But look, there's also another line going upwards. So
Yeah.
uh, quite simply, what I was trying to tell people, it's something that meets in an L. So the surface that's there where the black line is, there could also be some elevation on the surface that's higher. When the elements, the surface is higher, it can cause shadows. But that it looks, and you'll see as we get in, it looked like a towering object, which are just basically see-through towers. That when I say see-through, they're like milk color or white colored shape. So the reason why we're seeing Aristarchus well there is because we're along the Terminator line, and when you go along the Terminator line, it shows you all the elevation, you know.
Yeah.
But you see,
Well, you just mentioned glass structures again. I had Jay Widener on, maybe on the first channel here, and we had talked about was it Steve Hoagland's material? There was like glass structures or glass.
the domes and the craters and stuff. They showed like broken glass, like a
Yeah,
thick glass where the domes are broken up and stuff like that. You know, all the craters. That's exactly what they can be. Think of it. The craters can be foundations, man, to constructed objects that are alien to us, quite simply. And we're seeing the foundations that are showing us signs of lines going to that. And you know, whether you know the same depth of the craters too, they say nobody understands it. If there's a cloud cover on the moon, there's dust on the moon hiding the surface, because I've showed hundreds of times where you're looking at the surface, you don't see anything, and all of a sudden there's this lights up and then it dims down. Well, why aren't we seeing it? It's because they're under that friggin' haze and they're hiding.
Let's check out this next one here. This is public UFO disclosure that proves that life exists on the moon. Oh my God. Let me see here.
I took a chance for that
yeah. Hold on. Let me see here.
Yeah, okay. These are great.
Situate the audience here. What are we looking at?
We're in the Southern Highlands. And at the same time, we're looking at here with the inversion along the craters. We can see some straight lines or 90-degree angles or platforms that are built. What I'm pointing to in the center there is basically what I believe that the bases look like. This is just a zoom up on the surface, no explanation where you see this is the same area, and you can see that there's that square around the crater. But look at that. And on top of it, Jean-Claude, at the top of that, if it is a tower and not lying down, there's a bump at the top. It looks like a bloody telescope. A satellite. At the end of the bloody tower.
Oh, I see what you mean. Hold on. Okay. Let me this would be the satellite peeking out of this tower.
Yeah, it is that. Like back up and you'll see that. Oh my gosh. And libration causes us to see objects on the moon that are elevated lying down, but they're not lying down. They're very high up off the surface. And you could see that there's something at the end of that, and it's coming out of a bloody hole. And that over to the right, that's right beside it, again, just quite simply showing that there's some symmetry on the line. Look at that. I mean, for me, that's a lot. There's no manipulation there. Like everybody sees that, even with the small telescopes, very well. It's just that it's the same reflectivity. This Jean-Claude, Jean-Claude Bevy, I salivated when I saw this part of NASA. I don't know what footage or mission, SLS mission it is, but it's NASA showing the exact freaking surface that I show everyone, the objects that everyone tells me it's pixelation, and it's not. And watch in the center, you'll see a UFO coming up. There's one there.
Yeah.
And you see how he turned the camera? Yeah. It's because he's looking at it. This guy is probably saying, what the hell?
Yeah.
And watch this. Hard to see, but it looks like they're going through tubes. He changes directions and heads off towards the right. And you'll see a little explosion on the surface at the same time that should appear while he's going up. So they're changing directions, taking off from the surface, and NASA would be in the atmosphere of the moon looking at them. But Jean-Claude, that's exactly what I'm showing on the moon.
So you know, just hold on here. So folks, hard to see here. I'm trying to zoom in, but this little black object here starts here at the bottom, goes this way, comes up, and then goes right. So this is not there's some movement there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see it. It looks like it's going through some tube or tunnel. So if there's glass tubes or something on the surface, glass tubes that are see-through would be reflective for us, and we would see them as milky colors. So it doesn't mean oh wow, Bruce solved it, but in a theory, I'm trying to understand the light, man. everything we understand on the surface, we have to understand how light works. If not, it's impossible to understand the surface, the way the shadows, interact on the surface and everything.
To be fair, like some of these NASA scientists have said, oh, what you're looking at is ice particles coming off the vehicle. Yes. Okay, they've said that. But does ice move in a zigzag pattern?
Exactly. And the worst of it is that you see, okay, look at it like you want. Look at the object as you're playing the video. Whoever is filming this is not moving very fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why in particularly that one in the center that seems to take off from the surface, but hey, that's nothing. I recently showed NASA showing UFOs taking off in different directions, and one of the links I sent you got 21,000 views in less than a week on that video. And it's the most incredible NASA proof that literally NASA is helping my research be passed off as real. It's the same thing. They're changing directions. Explosion on the surface, where you see there's an explosion on the surface of the moon, and then all of a sudden all the UFOs or biological creatures all shift at the same time on the surface, man. And that's NASA.
Okay, hold on a second. For some reason I don't have it on the screen. Wait a second. Where was this? I'm gonna redo this.
I can go back and tell you what the title was. It's
21,000 footage is real. Okay, I thought I had this. Copy link. Let me bring this back up. Maybe I made a mistake.
Just to be sure it's the right one.
Okay,
this is public. This is public UFO disclosure.
Okay, so we're in that same video. So where's that part that you want to show? So we just did this part, right? And then we did this part. Okay.
Absolutely. Keep going.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. This is the new Amazon structure. No. This is the detainee structure on the moon.
Well, there's also the daycare, but we are not allowed to talk about. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah. Between the walls.
Yeah, because those parents that commute from Jupiter every week, they have to put their kids somewhere. So this is the daycare.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And since they have these new landing pads, well, there's more kids now in the daycare center.
No, guys, we're joking, but look. Okay. Does this?
Yeah. Well, hey, that's how good, man. We're laughing at this. In reality, for me, it's the most amazing footage I've ever seen of the UFOs leaving the surface there. And that, by the way, is sinus iridum for your community. If ever they want to go look it up themselves, this is the promontorium at the bottom of the apple bite of sinus iridum, where China said they could not land on the right because the surface was too bumpy. Okay,
there's too many buildings and cars and shit. We can't land here.
Exactly. The parks weren't open, so they couldn't land or something. But that's just
we couldn't land on the roof of the daycare. We didn't want to quash those poor people. Okay,
exactly.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's move a little bit further to that clip you're looking for. Probably here.
Yeah, it could be. We're not far. It's pretty incredible.
Air traffic direction. No, that's the same clip again. No, yeah,
that's the same one. Yeah, where I'm showing the same air traffic direction, so you can keep going there. Okay, keep going. That's just showing a line. That's the one that landed near my house. Hello.
Yeah, we did that one before.
Now here. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. That's what you want to see. Okay, be blown away. SLS 48 mission is a rare mission. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So watch what happens when an explosion. Okay, the end. We just solved it. Me, that's all it takes, bro. That's all it took me. Okay, and watch at the same. Yeah, something taking off. Watch this. Chills. That's NASA showing the friggin' truth. Now watch the explosion that happens. You don't notice, but there's those two objects will react at the same time the explosion on the left reacts, and on the right there are jellyfish-like creatures entering on the right side at the level of the horizon that you'll see when it goes further in the footage. And here, of course, it's look at the clouds they're filming. How are they filming clouds on the moon? Isn't that odd? Little clouds coming out. It looks a lot like my research when I'm showing UFOs turning around. But that is something that even myself, I've had a hard time capturing directional change. That's what they're hiding, because that proves it all. It proves that it's not, you could say it's a UFO or biological creature. These can be living organisms, Jean-Claude, literally living organisms, man, in our atmosphere. And there could also be some around Earth, different living organisms.
There was a guy, couple of years ago, he was filming what looked like snakes in the sky. He had created this. He had used concave lens as opposed to, I don't know. He had changed the lens in his camera, Gemma. He had changed his lens in his camera, and he was seeing some weird ass shit. Do you remember the name of the guy I'm talking about? Or
No, I know exactly who you're talking about, but I do not remember his name, man. But I'm following what you're saying. I remember that.
yeah, that's crazy.
And it's funny you say that, because concave, a lot of people don't know what that is. But when you're looking at the craters on the moon, sometimes people tell me, "Hey, Bruce, how come the crater looks like it's a mountain? It doesn't look like it's inside." We see that a lot in the moon. When I convert it, it goes to concave, and it goes to the other one when it's not inverted. And the eyes, the optical illusions. But I don't remember the name of the guy though, but I know exactly who you mean.
Maybe I'll try to bring it up for our next show and talk about his camera solution. And he was saying that if he had the money to create that same effect in a bigger telescope, he said, "Oh my God, the things we would see as humans, but nobody produces those here on the planet. And it's not something you can make yourself in your garage if you want."
No, and the government must know that with a bit filtering and the ideals and all the ideals that people are coming up with, people are geniuses. People are smart online. Some people have telescopes that I've seen that have no education in science, and they're really smart with knowing how it's all the spectrums, the spectrum of our eye. We can't see certain objects. So in other spectrums, if there's other objects that are going around, like for example, let's say there's an explosion that occurs when you're at 700 nanometers, you're only going to see it for filming for weeks or months. I mean, these things go unnoticed for a long time, but NASA James Webb telescope has all those filters, has many different spectrums and nanometers. And different
I can imagine. Yeah. Somebody in the chat are saying, "Oh, it's Crow 777." No, I know who that guy is, but it's not the person I was talking about with the configured telescope. My dog's going ballistic here. I think there's somebody at the door. Bruce, set this one up here. I'm gonna press play here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just gonna go see who was at the door here. Go ahead, Bruce.
All right, thanks a lot. So for those just arriving, this is Mare Serenitatis. And in 218, I have the footage from the same area on the right, 2022. But there's a problem. This is going to take you guys a while to understand and to see it with your own eyes. You're going to have to look at it several times. But on the top left side of the mare, there are objects that are being constructed in difference. There's a rectangle over there on the right. Also, I want you to notice there. Those two objects on the left were different on the right in 2022. Several years later, they are bigger. And you could clearly see a whole wall on the right side that is a lot bigger than the wall on the left side. It's going to take exactly there. Yes, exactly. Oh my God, man. I was wondering who the hell was moving the arrow. Come back. I said, am I moving the arrow?
You're moving it with your mind.
Yeah, but you pointed to the right area. It's that exact area there. And it's a change. It is a change, and it's massive. And again, that line that's added there, it looks just like the rectangles that we showed at the beginning in the NASA footage. It's just a regular rectangle line going out. And we say rectangle. It's maybe not a rectangle shape. It's an elongated
So let me
shape.
try to explain to the audience what I see here too. So I would see this first one, demarcation here, and then the second one. And then it looks like they're starting the third, but there's nothing there. But then if you look at this one, you see the first one, you see the second one, and then you see the third one.
Yeah, and right underneath it, there's another. We'll call it a crater. On the right, it's more complete, round, and then on the left.
Here, there's missing something on the edge here, on the bottom right edge, and here it seems to be filled out now.
Exactly, and don't forget, I looked at every freaking. Do you have any idea how long I had to look at the moon to find out those little changes? So I'm not lying. I'm not telling people, hey, they're building every day, but it's that they're too small for us to see them. But that there it's just interesting, and it's a sign. And look, I got the same angles there. It's almost the exact same angle of the moon to show it. And again, that Apollo 17 would have supposedly landed on the bottom right side of that. There it is. You can see it well there on the left. That extra like wall like area. And here
it's missing.
It's missing. Yeah. So maybe it's just the area is brighter now. I'm not going to hide that, but still, it's intriguing. You can see like there's 3 walls now. So like next year, I want to check to see if they're going to close off the bottom. They're building a hell of a big castle, and that would be a couple of miles wide there. C'est quand même assez large. It could be about 6 to 7 miles wide. And
Wow.
the Apollo 17 landed on the right side of that mare, and there's a rectangle there. This is very interesting. Even though I did show you this before, but I didn't show you the lines before. Yeah, you notice it, right? So look
Yeah.
now with the eyes have to adjust. People sometimes complain because of the way I show it. It's too dark, but it's not easy to be able to show the surface. You can see that there's a rectangle right there.
Yeah.
And now watch this. So, there's I want people to see it properly. We could see that there's an ejecta line there cut off, or it looks like there's a marking around it that's cut off. But
well, right here, clearly, let me zoom in. I'll put my cursor around it so people can see. So here's a rectangle.
Yeah.
There you go.
Do you see that brown stuff? Do you see that there's a patchy look to it where that arrow is exactly at?
Yeah.
It looks patchy. I'm not saying it's trees, but it looks patchy. So now there's 3 light sources with 3 lines leaving the right side of that rectangle. And here I obviously showed it a couple of times because I had a lot to say in it. But now there we go. This is awesome. Right there's the rectangle. We could see as it's moving, let it shift because it's hard to show. I'm going to try to show that there's 3 light sources on the other side. 1, 2, and 3. And there's 3 lines attached to it. So now as it goes by several times, you have to try to look at it to notice them. I could see them. People with their smaller phones were able to see them, but it's not easy to see. And those 3 lines, which I can see now, by the way, it's starting to appear at the right when you know where they are. You'll see there's a play with the light that I try to bring it up. And then those light sources that are there, you could look at the lines 1, 2, and 3. And those 3 lines go to like towering objects. I don't know if you can see it well. I'm hoping you're seeing it well because I can see it well on my screen.
Moi, j'ai de la misère à le voir. Là. Si tu avais ton cursor dessus, tu pourrais m'aider, là, mais je suis pas sûr de suivre. Je vois. Okay, so I can see where you have those red circles there, but I don't see.
So I guess it's because it's funny. Eh? I could see it well on the. My community actually saw the lines very well too. I guess they're hard to see. Eh? So it's 1, 2, and 3, and to the right there's 3. I see them now. There's 3 lines right there. They're like milk shaped. Yeah, you definitely have to move your head around to be able to see it. But I would have been happy if you saw it better though. I thought you would have seen it. I see it well on my channel. I'm not going to say that they're hiding my video here, but
no, but I mean, I'm I'm pulling this from YouTube into StreamYard back into YouTube. So for sure, we have degradation while we would do these.
Yes, and that little degradation is the only thing that shows us the structures. Copernicus crater. Look at that. Under Copernicus crater, we see that there's something mounted on top of this object, high up, elevated off the surface, and that's what I believe. There's a tunnel or something going through the structures. They have a dark structure, a dark surface area that's symmetrical right there. And around it, they have that rampart or that extra blurry patch that's higher up, either to hide the surface or to create light around it, And here it's without the inversion, just quite simply with a green filter before me doing any tampering with it, because some people say tampering and you can see it,
Yeah.
This one of my favorites, lifting up off the surface of the moon. What the hell can that be? There's a light that lifts up off the surface too at the end, comes out at the end of that line. That's right on the surface, and it's rising up thousands of feet up into the air.
Wow.
So, I mean, you can't help but wonder if someone's there. Well, I think, we're definitely past the point of believing if someone's there or not.
Wow, man, we're already past the hour mark. Holy crap, Bruce, this goes fast.
That's because the time flies when we're having fun, man.
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely wanted to show the cylindrical one over your house.
Yes.
Here. What am I missing? I'm missing one.
The cylindrical. You need the title, and like I said, I'll also be back too, bro. We're gonna have to look at some more stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anytime, Bruce, you want. Oh yeah, this is it here. Okay, so this up. So this is above. This is close to where you live in the park, or
right in my yard. Right in my yard.
Okay.
The tower right at the back of my yard, right inside my yard.
Wow.
So now get this. They announced to be careful that giant hail killed 2 people in Canada. I don't know if you heard recently, family camping or something like that. It was horrible. But I've seen hail fall and big enough hail fall, but I've never seen cylindrical objects. They were falling fast. It went patink patoink off my house, but let it be known that it is not raining out at all. There's no rain there. It's something's falling, like somebody picked up 10 or 15 rocks and whipped them up really high, and they're going pop, on the house. I didn't see any object, didn't see any pieces of it. Here I was thinking the aliens were throwing me down a can of beer or something to get me ready for my flight, something. And it's pretty intriguing to see coming down.
It's from the new brewery on Mars. Apparently it has a little bit of a red tint to it.
Exactly. It's some perfume from Mars, Eau de Mars.
I love it. Wow,
and
cool.
that giant, it was just cool, the giant cloud stayed over my house, and it stayed there for 2.5 hours. Wow. And I heard a massive plane going by at the same time before I saw that falling. So I got a whole bunch of people saying, Bruce, this could be something that has to do with the geoengineering, or that they're, nano particulates, or whatever they're doing, experimenting. People obviously,
or somebody flushed the toilet and the guy was having a huge dump that day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's one of my first comments I got. Somebody was mad, and he said, it's toilet crap from the plane. And I'm like, that's one hell of a turd, dude. It made it all the way down to Quebec there. I highly doubt it's going to get down to one piece there when they flush that out of the plane.
Oh my God.
But it's intriguing, because here's the other thing, Jean-Claude. I showed 4 or 5 objects in that video, and they're all the same shape and form, and they all have that like bound of black in the center, and they're all round.
Wait a second here. These are not all the same cylindrical object. There's more.
Every one of them are different, and I deliberately showed that I was moving around to get them, and I saw about 10 to 15 fall. It didn't even rain for another 30 minutes until that cloud was coming, and I didn't hide it. The first time I posted the video, I said, could be giant pieces of ice falling to the ground, but they wanted me to pick them up. I'm not stupid. I obviously immediately tried to pick them up, but there was a massive storm. I wouldn't have seen it anyways. Electrical storm. I stay out of electrical storms. I was in the house. And there's an actual, a tornado starting. It's not a tornado, but when tornadoes form, like, it comes down, and it almost happened, and then it went back up, and the crazy weather. I've never seen that here in all the time that I've lived here, a crazy cloud like that. And the cloud was just ginormous. And then at this moment right there's this massive plane going over top of it. I could hear a rumble. And then all of a sudden, the falling of those little objects, or big enough objects, You can see there just quite simply the rain coming by as it's
Bruce, you just mentioned something. They wanted me to capture them, right? Now, do you feel that you can call them up to videotape them and say, okay, leave, and they leave? Like, do you see some type of intelligence sometimes? I'm talking about specifically what you're capturing above your house.
I do. And for the longest time, I was very careful even to just talking about it, whether it be coincidence or not. When I go outside, that's another thing, man. I have some incredible UFO captures in my UFO videos. They're like, it's a light in the sky, right? So I'm not just going to make a video of the light going by in the sky. It would be boring as hell. Right. I get them doing so many things. They flash at each other. They appear beside each other, sometimes 3 in a row, sometimes 4 in the same screen. It's just absolutely incredible. But there's something to them. There's something to them, though, those UFO lights. I really don't know what to think of them, but I do communicate with them. I don't care what anybody says. I confirm to you that I believe that I'm able to not necessarily manipulate them, but it's the way I look at it is that they're going by, and I ask them to do something incredible. Jean-Claude, I have over 30 times that I asked them to do things, and it works. I asked them, impress me. Fly away at high speeds, and in the center of the friggin' image, it goes away, and it just takes off and goes away, and it happens a lot. I'm able to see a lot of those things happen and occur, like the one that came down to the house. Right? I got so afraid afterwards, because I said, if there's radiation in that, like if that was China, I would not be filming them. I would be wearing masks. I wouldn't even let them go over the house, because it would be bad news. But aliens from another civilization or race, listen, real quickly, from another galaxy, Jean-Claude, how do we visit Pluto? With probes. Well, the aliens that are coming here could be just as advanced as us, and they're using probes, and they're sending lights to see over Earth, and they see everything that's going on before them coming.
Yeah.
Maybe they're on their way. Maybe they're going to send something, I believe that they're here already, probably most likely already here. Who knows?
Speaking of probes, you don't want that guy to probe your anal. I won't say it.
No. That's what we'll be talking about this afternoon. I have lunch with Valiant Thor. We're off to Mars for a breakfast. Have some breakfast.
Say hi to his wife. She's gorgeous. Okay. Hey guys, if you want to check out more incredible footage from Bruce, please do go visit Bruce Sees All here on YouTube. I'll bring the link down so you can go and subscribe to this amazing channel. And also, Bruce, let people know how they can support you here on patreon.com/Bruce Sees All. Are you trying to put together a little bit more cash here to increase the capabilities of your telescope? Are you looking for filters? What are you looking for right now? And how can people support you?
Absolutely. Right now, on the channel, of course, my biggest supporters, they do go on Patreon, and I get a video up there a month or twice a month. In reality, it's to support the channel. It's a minimum, I think, $3 that you can give. But there's a super chat thank you button now on channels. People can thank you, and contributions, $1, $2 donations on chat. And of course, I have all my fundraisers are in the description. And what I do is I leave them all there. You never hear me talking about them on the videos because I understand people want me to focus on my research, but it is important, JC, that you, me, people, we get support in every way. And also support, thumbs up, likes and stuff like that. Everyone's welcome to the channel, man. And it's free, but in reality, money doesn't grow on trees. Not everyone's rich. So you don't have to contribute, but you can. It does help the channel for sure.
So I'm looking at the descriptions in your videos, as you're saying. So guys, here's how you can support Bruce. Of course, the link to his Patreon is there. But this myevent.com, Bruce Sees All, this is where you're trying to get some money also for the equipment. What do you need next? What are you trying to upgrade to here for your next
There'll be better cameras, man. And see, I'm trying to do this in a smart way. I don't just want to be the one with getting the biggest scope. I want the scope to be big and bad. I want it to work. And since I have a 14-inch telescope, I can really invest some money into making that a monster and to using incredible cameras to now also in the near future to get beautiful shots of Saturn and all the planets and everything. My goal uniquely is that I found out a way of finding UFOs on the moon, and there's no mystery about it. Taking down the exposure, it's just painstakingly long to try to stare at the surface and try to find ways to zoom up without pixelating, But the megapixels, I have about 47 now, 46. Once I go to 100 megapixels, that's my project. My goal is that the little objects, like I'm trying to show you, those 3 lines that were next to Apollo 17, will be a lot more visible. The little minute details that are all around the craters will be a lot more clear. And I want to bring that also out more, infrared on the sun. There's the telescope recently also. I just got the telescope, solar telescope. And listen, complicated. Haven't done a lot of time with it yet, but it's the goal to see better out on the, I get sun videos too, man. Those, just coming by the channel. I film the sun white light viewing. I show all the sunspots, and man, I got a lot of asteroids and meteors just again last week or the week before last week. There's some more large objects whizzing by the sun because that flashing event, like you're talking about, is very scary that it could happen. And and when it happens, man, we're not going to be ready, right? So it's going to be everything goes down. And then we'll be weeks, months to find out what happened. We'll have our little newspapers lying to us to say that, there's a problem with the main line, or I don't know, an airplane hit the line or something. And I don't know. Then we'll see Russian airplanes. Like, what the hell is that?
What the F is going on? Well, to find out what's going on, guys, again, Bruce Sees All here on YouTube. Go check out his videos, like, share, and subscribe. And what do you have going on here? You're still doing those Friday chats also with the audience members. When can they have you?
Every Friday at 1 o'clock. Thanks, man. Every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. 1 p.m., 8 p.m. I do a 2-hour twice stream, and I talk to the community about updates, a bit like what we just did about the news and what they're talking about, and I talk about my research. And of course, I hope to get some new subscribers that come to the channel and just are interested in joining in the subject. Everyone's welcome. You don't even have to be subscribed. It helps. But it's free. Come by the channel and talk and join the community. We have a great community. Eastern
Cool.
time, 1 o'clock, 8 p.m. on Fridays.
Awesome. We'll see you there, guys. And of course, I want to leave you on this amazing picture when I say the moon is inhabited. Man, it sure looks like there's something there. I don't know. I don't need to be a rocket scientist to tell you that that's not a normal.
No, exactly. And I mean, everything's cut out and and from far away, when you leave real quickly, when you take an air, I haven't been on planes very often, once or twice in my life. Well, actually 4 times, because I had to go and come back. But when you go on a plane and you lift up 2,000 or 3,000 feet up off your own home, right in Montreal or Ottawa, wherever you leave, you don't recognize the ground. Everything looks confusing. The houses, you can't see the houses anymore. And then, this is like many thousands of feet from the surface. So they would be huge, because all the little dots beside them could be giant churches or schools there. We wouldn't know it until we get in a lot closer, Looks like they're doing an effort to smoke the surface also, so that they can go around. And imagine how inexpensive it is. We're going to smoke the surface. Look at Antarctica. You don't tell me they can't have 10 planes there smoking all day long just to hide the people on the moon. They'll never see the reflectivity of the surface,
Oh my God. Somebody just reminded me, Steve, saying, hey, was John Lear accurate about helium-3 being mined on the moon? Well, yeah, we didn't really get into that here, but there's this new mineral the Chinese are talking about. Bruce, I have to get you back on.
Absolutely.
We have so much to discuss here. Guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. This was, of course, part 8 of Bruce Sees All. The Moon is Inhabited.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'll be back. I'm looking forward to it, too. We have a lot of fun all the time. There's lots of cover. We could have talked to, I would have kept going for a while. Just my allergies. Just my allergies before the thing.
What I was thinking too when Steve mentioned John Lear, I'm like, oh, maybe this is John Lear's descendants making these huge warehouses for their special jet fighter planes on the moon. And I say that jokingly, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised. There's a
John
big
Lear was in contact with me. Do you know that?
Oh,
yeah. He was in contact with me. He emailed me. He's called me before. And he wanted to know how I was doing the research. It was very direct and precise that he had to know about it. I had a whole bunch of feelings. It's like, what? John Lear, much due respect to him, who passed away, could have been a double agent. He met Bob Lazar. Why? Why did he go to Bob Lazar to try to find it? Why is he trying to expose the government? So when he connected with me and he told me, he goes, Bruce, you're in trouble right now. I mean, what you're seeing, you're going to have to tell people, how the hell you're getting it. But he wanted to know how I was doing it. I had the honor of that guy, and it's not venting, man. I'm proud from what happened. He put my research on his wall, and people knew me by going to his house, and that's how they began to hate me, because my picture was on his wall. 3 of them. Sinus Iridum, Bianchini crater. He was blown away. John Lear talked about that for the last his last years of his life. But it's like a game of Clue, Jean-Claude. Who do you trust, man? People, I do interviews with you. We have fun. You're a good guy. But if there was investments or something, like, we start getting scared. It's like everybody's coming to me, do this, do that. You should be doing this. Send me your original files. Who the hell are you? Send your original files. I got them. I'll send them to the government when they want them.
Yeah. I'm scanning the wall to see your stuff here. Man, I'm so jealous. I wanted to interview Mr. Lear, and of course he passed away. A lot of the greats passed away this year that I wanted. Jordan Maxwell also I wanted to interview. I had tried a couple of times, it didn't work out, and of course he just passed away too recently. So it's important to have these shows and share these stories. I didn't know that he had this.
He took off somebody's incredible image of the moon that made somebody really mad that he went and stuck my stuff up there. That's where I saw that John Lear was in love with the ideal that the moon's inhabited, and he wanted the truth to come out before he passed away, most likely. So he was trying to push it. He gave me look at it the way you want. He m'a donné un coup de pouce. He gave me a good push, even though he was he's a tough guy, man. You're dealing with a real Men in Black, This image, he's actually doing his sign for the Masonic signs and stuff. I love badasses, and these are the people that expose the moon. The little signs that they do, and all these things that remember Jim Carrey did that, the all-seeing tongue, laughing at them. Everybody knows about what's going on. It's just people are remaining hush hush about the secret societies and stuff. But all these people, the CIAs and everyone, they're all dealing with these associations. It's all secret associations. Look at a game of Clue.
Yeah. Well, here's the smirk. We'll leave with this tribute to John Lear. A little smirk of, I know something you guys don't know. That's
when he was talking with me.
All right, guys. I love you. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Bruce, we'll see you soon, man. I'll send you
Thanks
an
a
email
lot, man.
Stay in touch. And we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely stay in touch. I love you, man. Thanks again.
All right, take care, guys.
Community. Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye.